Hello, I am Oracle Laura, and those of you who know me already will know that I'm a psychic and a medium, and this is the Oracle Laura show. I have a very special guest today. He is a vice president of the Hockey Association of the United States. So he's in the States. I'm in Vancouver, BC, Canada, and today we're going to be talking all about the Olympics. So this is going to be real fun. We're going to be talking to someone who knows a lot about it. And I don't know too much about sports. Those who know me know that I predict sports. And so I purposely don't know anything about the Olympics other than the fact that I had a dream August 22 in the year 2015. You'll see it posted on my Facebook. You'll see that under Oracle Laura Facebook. And you'll see that I had a dream about the Olympics being in China. So that was interesting. That was way back in 2015, and this is 2022. Today is January 30th, 2022, and we're going to be talking to Gavin Regan. So please welcome my very special guest, Gavin Regan.
Hey, Laura, how are you?
Hi.
Well, thank you for having me on your show again. It was fun the first time, and I'm happy to be on again. And I liked your shirt, the Vancouver Olympics in 2010. Yep, those were great Olympics. It was a tough one for us. We got silver in the men's Olympic on the men's team and the women's team. So, but Canada did well in those Olympics, and it was obviously a very well run Olympics under different times than we have now. So, but yeah, our men's team is actually going to be on the way to LA, and what they do is they'll all meet in LA, and then they charter with other athletes from LA to Beijing. Because as you know, the Olympics, or you might not know, different events happen at different times in the Olympics. So it's not like everybody starts the first day that the Olympics open. For example, I think the bobsledders don't start for like 10 to 12 days after the Olympics are actually going. So, but our women's team is already there in Beijing. They practice for a couple days. It's 13 hours difference in time from the East Coast to Beijing. So we're at 3 o'clock, a little after 3 in the afternoon East Coast time. So it's 4 o'clock in the morning there in Beijing right now. So the athletes will be getting up soon and doing some training and getting ready and preparing for the actual games for them to start on Thursday.
So that's going to be interesting in itself, just the fact that the time zone different. You know, they're going to be having their scores way ahead of us finding out, and so that's going to be different.
Yeah, a number of the games are televised like at 11 o'clock at night East Coast time or 8 o'clock in the morning East Coast times, depending on when the events start. So yeah, it's a different time. It was kind of the same thing though in Pyeongchang in 2018. That was 13 hours difference too. So yeah, it's not the easiest for spectators. You're right. I mean, a lot of the things too will probably be tape delayed, some of the events, so people will already know the scores before they actually see the games, and it'll be even, I would say, even more so this time because some of the coverage, all these TV outlets aren't sending as many people because of COVID. So I would imagine there'll be even more of that happening, the tape delay type of thing. So
yeah. Now, when I was on Sportsnet, it was a good thing that the time zone worked out okay because they had me on just before the game, and so when I was predicted that they wanted Calgary to win. I believe this was 2017. They wanted Calgary to win, and instead it was the Toronto Argonauts won because I had predicted that. And so when that came true, it was right after. It was really close after the show, and they contacted me and said, "Oh my God, you were right all along. It was Toronto. They won." So luckily that prediction worked out time-wise. That's good. That's a really good point. The time difference. So it's good that we're doing this on January 30th, days in advance before the Olympics start.
No, yeah, it's been there's been some real challenges for all these federations to get athletes there, and all the testing. I mean, I heard basically some information today. Already 34 people associated with teams, either coaches or support staff or athletes, have tested positive already.
I
So,
saw that. I was wondering what they would do because that's sort of a high number. Because I
yeah,
know if for those of you who watched our previous show, what day did we do that? That was January
I don't remember.
1st, or yeah, at the beginning of January we did the
Yep.
first show, and that was on the junior hockey. You know, that I had predicted. I had told you that, you know, don't bother going. You know, I felt bad because, you know, I know you were needed there and you wanted to be there, but I was like, I knew they were going to lock down. I just knew it wasn't going to work, and so you'd be flying, taking a flight there to what was that, Red Deer, right?
Yes.
I didn't want you traveling all that way for nothing. And so it was a good thing. You know, it happened. It came true really soon after I told you and made that prediction. And so, yeah, I know when I heard about the Olympics, that was a lot of cases. Well, I'm not
Yeah.
sure what they're going to do. They're just about to start, you know, they're
Yeah.
starting on the 4th, right?
Correct. Yes. I mean, and actually some actually competition on the women's side actually starts before then. The first game, excuse me, the first game for the women, not for our team, but China will play the Czech Republic at 11 o'clock at night on February 2nd. So East Coast time. So they're actually starting before the opening ceremonies, because there's so many games that will happen in ice hockey. So, but yeah, that's, you know, what's that, Wednesday, right? Yeah, that's Wednesday. They start Wednesday night here in the East Coast. The first games will start, so it'll be on you know, just a couple days from now. So, but yeah, it's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be a challenge. And I mean, the athletes I do know have been met with people in hazmat suits and checking them in and all that stuff. So it's going to be a different experience. It's not going to be like, you know, the last number of Olympics. It's going to be pretty strict. There won't be people, you know, there spectating. So it's going to be, it'll be, you know, it's going to be a challenge for everybody, and hopefully everything goes well.
Well, for everyone who knows that I predicted this pandemic, this exact virus, you know, in great detail, you know, it wasn't vague at all. It was very detailed. It was exactly what we're going through today. And that prediction was in 2014 and 2015. And I had several. I think I had like 20 or 30 different predictions prior to it happening, prior to us even getting this coronavirus. And I remember like one of them was about hazmat suits. And it is interesting, you know, the virologists and the doctors, they're wearing hazmat suits, or at least some of the doctors are. But the virologists, we all know that they wear those, and yet they want just people wearing a mask. And I just don't know. Like, what do you think? Do you think the mask is really even doing anything?
Yeah, I'm not, you know, you know, we're getting mixed messages from all over the world. So it's hard to tell from one day to the next. Obviously, with the Olympics, you know, we basically have to follow the rules that have been established by the Chinese government and the International Olympic Committee around that. So, I mean,
Yeah,
we've
that's
been,
true. You know, you're talking about different countries and everyone having a different regulation. That's a good point. You know, you gotta go
yeah,
according to what China wants.
yeah. I mean, so all these countries and federations have had to basically live up to whatever China and the International Olympic Committee has wanted them to do. So I do know of people that have already tested positive, not with our group, but have, you know, they've been in the Olympic Village, they tested positive, and then they've been taken out of the Olympic Village to an isolation hotel. And I'm sure that will happen with the, you know, with a number of people. So
Well, going by what I'm sensing, I have to say that I don't feel that they're going to lock down the Olympics.
no,
I don't feel that, you know, even though I was right about the junior hockey, you know, I'm rarely wrong, and I'm known for that. I'm known for being really, really, really accurate. You know, even like really like government officials know. They know that I'm really, really accurate. I don't think this Olympics is going to get stopped. If they do, they'll take a little pause and then it'll continue again. I don't think they're going to shut down the whole thing. and cancel it. I can't see that.
Well, that's a positive because these athletes have trained all their lives for this opportunity. It's tough enough that their family and friends and all that can't go to watch them play, or participate. So I mean, I think it's great that you're seeing that it's going to go on, because give them something to kind of salvage, because it's got to be tough for these athletes that have trained all their lives, and it might be a one-time shot and nobody can come in person and watch them participate. So we're actually having watch parties with our parents and friends and family of the athletes in different places around the US, Lake Placid, New York, Park City, Utah, a number of different places, so people can kind of congregate and be together to watch. So I'm sure it's happening. I'm sure it's happening like that all over the world at different communities are trying to show support.
But I do see a pause though. I do see that there's going to be let's see if I can get a time. Time is really hard to predict. I want to see if I can get time here. Quarter of the way in, almost a third, somewhere between a quarter and a third way in. There's going to be a slight pause. Not quite a full lockdown, but a bit of a pause. And then it'll be reopened again. Everything will be good. So it's going to be just a little bit of a hiccup there.
Well, I guess a little bit of a hiccup is better than not having the Olympics at all, like I said, because these athletes have trained all their lives.
I see some running. I see some running races. Now, like I said, I didn't research this Olympics on purpose so that I'm really accurate, so that I'm not influenced by anything I've seen. I can read stuff I see though, so that's still good. But just to be careful, I didn't research the Olympics. I just know it's in China. So is there going to be any running?
No running. This is the Winter Olympics.
This winter, right?
Yeah, this winter. I mean, there's speed skating races. There's a number of different things, but there's not running races.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean,
there's a speed skating though.
Yeah, there's speed skating. There'll be slalom races, ski races. Going down the mountains.
Okay.
Going down the mountains, going through the gates, different races.
I saw a flat track, so I wonder if it's got something to do with the speed skating. I'm trying to predict. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to predict what sport is taking place at that time they do the pause. In case that's helpful in any way, right?
Right.
To prepare them.
But yeah, there's, obviously flat surfaces. There'd be figure skating, hockey, and speed skating. That'd be, everything.
It was more like a straight run. So the only thing I can think it might be the speed skating. Then I don't know any others like that. Unless
no, that would be roughly it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, hopefully it goes well for everybody. But you've obviously are good at what you do because you predicted the World Juniors and you predicted a number of things. So
championships, especially. I don't know how much you researched my other predictions in the past, but I'm noticing I guess that's why Sportsnet had me on to predict that one. I'm always good at knowing who's going to win the Stanley Cup, the Grey Cup, any major championship. I usually know. I don't think I've ever been wrong yet. I might have once or twice, but over my lifetime, I think I've always known the big ones, the big race.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, somebody should be hiring you to make those predictions for them.
Right?
Your talent's going to waste here.
That's right. I know. I'm needed out there. Come on, people. Like last night, I had a dream about tennis. That's why I decided to put my tennis rackets out. And something told me to also put out the badminton racket. I didn't know why. I was like, okay, fine, I'll put it here. But in my dream last night, I haven't posted it yet, but I was just washing like a tennis dress and I don't even own one. And in the
Mhm,
dream, I had two of them. I have tennis skirts.
mhm.
I have two tennis skirts, but I don't have tennis dresses, like a little short mini dress. And so that's everything. Everything means something. All the details, everything that my dream tells me, it's all significant in some way, and it all is going to play out. So I'm gonna be really finding that one interesting. You know what the tennis one's got to do.
Mhm. Right, yeah, exactly.
Like you
Obviously,
said, we're talking winter sports here. So what's your favorite? Which one do you like?
well, obviously, I mean, when I've gone to the Olympics, every Olympics since 1998. So other than this year, this is the first Olympics I'm not going because we've limited the number of people that can go because of COVID. Um, but I mean, it's so cool to watch like the bobsledders go down they go so fast, and the luge guys. And hey, I've got to know in the Olympics, it's a different situation because most people don't know. Like, for example, USA Hockey sends the men's and women's hockey teams to the Olympics. As you know, there's figure skaters might go, and luge sends luge. But when y'all get there, it's just Team USA. So no matter where you from, you're all on one team, whether you're a bobsledder or you're a hockey player or a figure skater, and everybody roots for each other. So it's so much fun going to other venues and meeting other people. Like, I mean, I had the best time with our curling guys. They're just wonderful, fun guys, but you don't get to meet them, and you don't cross paths other than that, during the Olympics. So it's really fun. I enjoy watching, figure skating. I enjoy watching, just about anything. I mean, these are just such great athletes, and they're such really good people, and just so hardworking and dedicated. It's not easy being an Olympian, that's for sure. But it's fun. It's fun to watch them.
Getting back to the luge, that really brought back a memory of mine. I remember that I made a prediction about that. It must have been a few years ago now, but it was posted. I know I posted that one online. It was like a dream or something, a premonition dream that I had, and it's sort of rare. It's rare for me to have a dream about like a luge. Like the sledding. Um, so when that one came through, that was quite interesting. I don't know if you saw that one, but what you were saying that being in the Olympics is much more challenging. Can you explain that for those who are watching who don't know those
Yeah,
challenges?
well, I mean, I would say, I mean, there's been a number of challenges this year. First of all, I mean, just taking into consider COVID and just the hurdles you have to go through just to get your athletes into the Olympic Village. There's a number of times that they have to test negative before they can even get there. And with the prevalence of the Omicron variant, and it's whether you're vaccinated, boosted, or whatever, people are still testing positive, and you have to basically, you're crossing your fingers and doing whatever you can. I mean, we literally chartered a plane to get our athletes there after they were all tested. So, and that's, hey, that's not foolproof either. But we're just trying to do things to give our athletes the opportunity to participate, just going that extra step, and hopefully everything will work out for them that they can participate. But and then you take on the men's side, initially the NHL was going to send players. So all of our US hockey players that are playing in the NHL, we were going to choose from them and have them go to the Olympics. But because of the prevalence of COVID and the number of games that had to be postponed in the NHL, now they had to reschedule them to get their season in, and they had to reschedule those games during the period of time that they were gonna go to the Olympics in Beijing. So the NHL had to opt out sending players, and we had to turn to basically Plan B of getting other players that play in pro leagues in Europe, and our best college players. So you're trying to put Plan B together in a short period of time, and getting everything from visas, to all those credentialing, to all those things in a short period of time, and coordinating, getting all our players together, from changing from one coaching staff to another coaching staff to a different support staff. So it's just been a lot of challenges, but all the federations have had to deal with the same things. But yeah, it's just things that we normally don't have to do. I mean, we would know our men's Olympic team, it'd be solidified by the end of December, and then we would go. But now we were putting, the team together within the last 2 weeks. So it's just been some different challenges. So, but hey, it's fun. I enjoy it, and we've got the bonus for us is we've got a lot of good athletes in a number of leagues. So we've got a good pool to choose from, and hopefully they all gel. But it's so different. Like they won't even get together. Like there'll be some, when they get together, introducing themselves to each other. So it's, they haven't played together as a group. So it'll be some challenges of having to, how do you gel the team, as quick as possible. Where conversely, our women's team has been together since August. So they know each other. They've been, working out, they've been practicing, they've been playing exhibition games together. So they'll have the women's side and across the board will have a decided advantage of, comfortability, for lack of a better word.
Let's talk about the women now, shall we?
Yeah.
Because this is one thing I'm noticing about these Olympics and the big championships. I'm noticing that the women do really well, and Canada. Canada seems to always get some good, they usually get the gold, and they get a lot of silvers, and the women seem to just kick butt. They really do really well. I'm really impressed with the women. So
yeah, they're great athletes. We'll put it this way: every Olympics, Canada's women's team has played in the gold medal game. So they started women's hockey at the Olympics in 1998. They've played in every gold medal game since 1998. The US has played in every gold medal game except for 2006.
oh,
That's the only time we didn't play in the gold medal game, when we won bronze that year. But it's either been US and Canada winning gold or silver, except for the one time we won bronze. So we're the US is the defending Olympic champion. We won in Pyeongchang in 2018. So I'm sure Canada, the Canadian women, will be, doing their best to make sure we don't repeat as Olympic champions. But it's an awesome rivalry. There are awesome athletes on both the Canadian team and the US team. And they're every bit as dedicated and hardworking as any athlete. So they're really good.
I don't know if you know this about me, but do you know that I am good at pretty well every sport?
No, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I excel at most anything I do, and especially sports and games. I in school was really great. It was really hard to get the gold because a classmate of mine, she was an A student in every subject. I was pretty well always A. She was always getting A pluses, always slightly ahead of me. And I noticed in sports, she always got the gold. So I almost always got the silver, but in pretty well everything. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, it's as a number, an NHL coach has told me when we won a silver medal, he said, "Hey, Gavin, they don't give these things away. So it's hard to win medals, that's for sure. Because everybody wants to, to knock you off, or everybody wants to win those medals. And there's very few that get the opportunity to do it, or even to participate in a gold medal game. So it's fun. The women do a great job, and it's great to watch them.
What would you like to say to some of the sports fans out there?
I would like to say, I'm sure that, a number of people, COVID's been tough for everybody, and I think it's going to be a good opportunity to kind of put that off to the side and watch your teams, no matter what country you're from, and cheer them on, and get behind them, because it's like I said, these athletes are really dedicated. They really want to represent their country, no matter, who they're representing. They really work hard, and they're really, good at what they do, and it's really fun to watch. So I think people would be remiss if they don't spend some time. I know the hours are a little crazy, as we said, but hey, whatever your favorite sport is, take a peek and watch them. And it's fun, because some sports you're not exposed to it that often. You get to see and you say, wow, that's a lot of fun. We see, for example, and I'm sure other countries do, is the participation level in sports that are going on in the Olympics usually increase after the Olympic Games, because people say, hey, they might have a young child, or they're watching it, they say, hey, I've always wanted to try that, and then they see it performed, and we always see an uptick in our athletes and people that want to try the sport after the Olympics. It's a great experience.
I have to agree with you on that. I've noticed that myself. Just even me watching the Olympics, I noticed that there'll be things that I've never watched before, and I'll think, oh, that's actually really awesome. I love watching that, and you sort of get that interest, like you said.
Right.
That's good for any athletes that decide they want to take on that career. And I would like to tell the people, just adding to what Gavin said, because of this pandemic and people being on lockdown and quarantine, and sometimes there's games where the players actually cannot, they have to be roomed together in one hotel, and they have to stay in that city, and they can't go anywhere, and they're sort of confined, and they can't even have their families with them. So I feel that these athletes need actually that much more support than ever before because of those conditions. And I think that if you can get out there and just root for them that much more, if you can be watching from your homes or wherever it is, and just give them a little bit more support, maybe get on social media and tell them that you're rooting for them, and that you're their fans, and you're supporting them, and that you're behind them all the way, and give them that little bit more push. Absolutely.
Yeah, Laura, I mean, you're 100% right. I mean, as you are in your predictions too, you're 100% right. Because, like, for example, I'll just take our athletes, for example. There's enough stress involved in them having to prepare for their opponent, but there's daily stress whether they're worried about whether they might test positive or not, and not be able to participate. So that's just, taking that at the next level. I mean, I can't use any other words than, hey, we had athletes that were scared to death that they weren't going to be able to get on the plane to go because of their testing. They were afraid that they were going to test positive before they had to go. And and there's, as we can see, the information has come out. There's support staff and there's athletes that are there now that have tested positive and are going to have to quarantine and maybe miss some of their competition. So it's just, you're 100% right. There's just that added stress of worrying about COVID around this, of whether they're going to be able to participate or not.
What's the sport that you would like me to make a prediction on?
What sport?
Yeah, let's do some predictions here.
Who's going to win the Super Bowl? So I don't even know. So today is Cincinnati plays Kansas City, and that's in one game. And tonight, Los Angeles plays San Francisco. Those are the 4 teams left, and the 2 winners play in the Super Bowl in a couple of weeks. So it's
So I was talking Olympics, but now that you asked, but that's okay. We can do this. We can do this.
I don't want to ask you about the Olympics. I mean, you can make your predictions, but I don't. I think it would be, just not fair for my players to me ask whether they're going to win or not, and and I don't want people to, no, I mean, I don't mind if you make your predictions later or whatever, but it's
that's
just,
good.
you know what I mean? It's because I'm involved in it. I would
right.
would never ask you, hey, are we going to win or we're not going to win? I would never do that. So that's not fair to me. It's not fair to our players and everybody else. So, but
okay.
I think
totally understand.
I think it's interesting that, so I got to meet him in 2006, I believe. Shaun White is, he's been, I think, to every Olympics since 2006. He's a snowboarder, and it's his last Olympics, and I just hope he does well. But hey, there's a lot of great stories and a lot of people that, I mean, hey, you'll have, people in their 30s that are Olympians, and you'll have teenagers that are Olympians this go around for all these countries. So I just think it's awesome.
So this Shaun White, you said what sport does he do?
Snowboarding.
Snowboarding?
Yeah.
Do you know if he smokes?
I do not know that.
Okay. I was wondering how much you know him.
No, I just know him through the,
I was shown a vision. I was shown a vision of that, so that's why I wanted to ask.
no,
Okay.
I have no idea. But no, hey, it's gonna be fun. I mean, it's great TV to watch these great athletes, which is wonderful.
So, is there any new sport that's been introduced?
It's a good question. I'm not sure, obviously, and it's sad to say, but I'm pretty focused on my group of athletes. There's a lot that goes on. Even I'll be doing a lot even from here in the U.S. regarding that. I mean, I'm getting emails and that stuff all the time. It is a challenge, though, in another challenge in China. Because of just the way the country is from the internet. And like, for example, a number of these countries you've read that none of our athletes and staff are bringing their own laptops or phones because there's a lot of monitoring, for lack of better words. So yeah, it's the communication is more difficult.
Okay.
Because we're just don't want to open our athletes or our team officials up to anything that the Chinese government could say that they were doing inappropriately.
Okay,
So,
that's a good point.
so yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah, that's been kind of a challenge. So but we've given all our athletes and everybody, and I think they call them burner phones. Like they're phones, but they are not they don't have the internet or stuff like that. So yeah.
Are the fans, are they going to be able to see their fan support then?
I think it's going to be so in the Olympic Village that itself. So the Olympic Village is like nothing that people really can imagine. It's like literally a village where you have thousands of athletes, and support staff and coaches are there, and that's it. So you'll have like a McDonald's there, you'll have restaurants there, and it's the same thing no matter what Olympics you go to, that there's, different places that you can go to eat. You can get any kind of food you want, but it's just for the athletes. Like the athletes would live like almost like apartment housing. And then you come out there and you go to like, there's 2 or 3 different places where you can eat and stuff like that. But they'll have like internet cafes, and they'll be able to use computers there that are, provided by the government and by China. So they'll be able to see a lot of that stuff, but it's not their personal, device. It's something that's been provided for them. From what I've been told, at this point in time, they're not blocking any particular social media. They're monitoring it, but they're not blocking it, what's coming in. So they'll get to, the athletes will get to see the support from people, around the world. So which will be great.
So tell us a little bit about your team.
Well, I would say our women's team, they're good. So is Canada's women's team. They're good. I don't see anything changing that the US and Canada, barring major COVID on either one of the teams, I don't see either one of those teams not making it to the gold medal game, just based on what I've seen from other teams in the world. And I think those two teams should probably vie for the gold medal, but hey, anything can happen. Men's side, it's wide open because everybody's had to go to plan B. I would say Russia will be good because they've taken a lot of players, and it's actually not Russia, it's the Russian Olympic Committee. So they've taken players from their KHL league and they're seasoned professionals. But I would say they'll be good. Germany will be good because they have a number of players playing in their pro leagues. So in the US and Canada, for example, our best players play in the NHL. And Russia and Germany, not necessarily are their best players only playing in the NHL. Some of them like to stay home and play, in Germany or Russia, whereas the US doesn't have a high level league like that, or Canada doesn't have a high level league like that either. The highest level league in our countries are playing in the NHL. So there'll be a lot of good teams. So it'll be more of a mixed bag of who could win that one. I would say there's 3 or 4 teams, 5 teams that could win it. So, and I would say we'll have a legitimate chance for sure.
Good. Awesome.
Oh, keeping my fingers crossed.
And your toes.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to be jumping on a plane at the end of the week. I'm taking my son, and he and I are going to the. Whoops, sorry. Speaking of my son, just calling. Sorry about that. We're going to go to the NHL All-Star game in Las Vegas this weekend. So we'll go see that, and see some of our NHL players and owners and general managers that we know in the NHL. So which should be fun. Yeah, it should be fun. Get out of the cold weather for a little bit in New York and head to Las Vegas. So yeah, be fun.
Great. Well, maybe we should let you go to your phone call there and let you go now. And I want to thank you for being on my show. This is Gavin Regan. Thank you for being with us.
Laura, I appreciate you having me on. Obviously, I will come on anytime you want because you do a wonderful job for your viewers. And your predictions are always 100% right. So I try to associate myself with winners, and you're obviously winning at making all these great predictions. So thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.